Well, that's two formats out of the way for Banlist. This is interesting. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Kaiser Coliseum banned in Master Duel. You know, I don't see a way that you can errata this card and have this card actually be a good card. I think that this is just one of those cards that you have to accept the fact that it remains a completely broken card and you can't have it in any of the formats. That's just, I don't see a way that you can solve this. Unless you put a timer on it for like 2 turns or something like that. Canap Turtle getting the axe in the OC or in Master Duel and the OCG. So this is freaking funny to me because the whole thing with Canap Turtle here is evidently people have been OTKing with the Winged Dragon Raw or something like that out here, which I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, how in the world, you know, have we been doing this in Master Duel? Because we don't have any of the Tachyon support, and you would think that, you know, I guess like setting up a Winged Dragon Raw or something like, whatever the FTK that they have going on in this format is, I don't think this card's long for the TCG either, especially if the TCG is taking a look at how everything is kind of sculpting across the board here for the OCG. You can bet your butt that this card is not going to survive a TCG list, but both of these, I'm fine with leaving the game. Canap Turtle having all of that ingenuity and searchability. I mean, once again, they do not have the Tachyon stuff in Master Duel yet. I'm assuming that that is going to be a much quicker case here, considering the fact that, you know, it's kind of strange to see this little guy getting the axe now. Now, Summon Limit. Oh boy, this card is also not long for this world, I feel like. So TCG has just completely eliminated Summon Limit from the pool, you know, on our last list. And then you're sitting here and you're looking at the OCG and Master Duel now both having this card limited to 1. Could the TCG bring this back as a 1? I mean, yeah, we very well could. I don't have a problem with doing that. My main concerns here are, though, you know, is this card worthy of coming back? Should all floodgates be at 1? I guess is your immediate takeaway from this. This is interesting. So, Bonfire has recently found itself moving to 2 in the OCG. And it is now moving to 2 in Master Duel. I want to see this card start to disappear out of the TCG too. I'm sorry to all of you fire duelists out here. I know you guys are collateral damage. You guys don't deserve this, and I agree with that 150%. Right? We should not be. You know, unfortunately, it just needs to happen. All right, this card is just too much of a consistency monster, and the fact that Snake Eyes. You know, I get the like, oh man, it stinks, you know, we have to start taking away pieces, but, you know, when you're releasing search cards that are too broken, like, honestly, this card should be at 1. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. Zeus moving to 2. This is very interesting. So this now allows the going second Zeus Turbo deck to actually have some leeway out here in Master Duel. And they've also got Trident. This is all that you... I want to see triple Zeus actually be relevant in anything. But you got to remember, if you move Zeus to 3, you know, that Zeus Trident or Zodiac Turbo deck being a fun option for players to mess around with, I think is a good thing. And I do think that the reasoning for the OCG, you know, keeping this card at 1 is kind of the same reason why we've been seeing SP Little Knight disappearing off of these lists gradually. You do not want generic power cards as good as, you know, how quick Zeus was to make, you know, remaining itself as an issue. And that's a big takeaway from this is, you know, SP Little Knight is the current Zeus problem, and it's not like there's a lot of Xyz monsters in the game that are really, you know, abusing Zeus right now. It's definitely not to say that can't change in the future. Airlifter, man, this is at 1 in the TCG and 2 in the OCG. Takeaways from this. The OCG or Master Duel is like super far away from like having the Fiendsmith incarnation of this deck. being an issue. Obviously, if that deck does enter into Master Duel relatively shortly, and you do see a lot of the craziness that kind of piles in with that, that's a completely different creature. All right, we will have to wait and see, but for now, I think that moving this to 2 is fine. And then Lily. What in the world are we doing? Why is Lily going to 2? Was purely that much of a problem in Master Duel that they're like, go ahead and slap the cat around a little bit. That way we can have a little bit of a consistency hit to this, because this feels like it's worthless. Like, okay. There's always going to be that one hit on every list that you just you take a step back and you're like, really? Like, that's the hit that we're doing here? To me, that's the hit. Okay. Spectre Unicorn to 3. I do not like this card at 3 at all. I feel like having to deal with multiples of this card is an issue. And I also do think here that the consistency that multiple of these can bring to the table, they're just a pain in the ass to have. Like that's the biggest thing with this. You want these things to be easy to handle. That's not really the thing. I mean, like, yeah, Dark Ruler No More, I guess, gives you the chance to do. You also have to break your opponent's pendulum scales to, kind of invalidate this. But okay. Also, they're moving Birth to 3. To be fair, isn't Fenrir and Unicorn just kind of like checked in like these formats? Moving Birth back doesn't really do much. I feel like it's kind of cool. They do have access to all of this stuff, but this is fine. Hi, Yata Garasu. This was the last place that I could think of that Yata Garasu actually was like, was it a problem, to be honest with you? Yata, obviously being able to skip that opponent's phase or draw phase. There's only been one competitive deck in the last 6 months that I have seen play this. It was actually a stun deck that would use Dragon with the Moon Mirror Shield to, also combine it up with the Yata, because, the Moon Mirror Shield would be able to take care of anything. And you can attack with the Yata, lock your opponent's draw, and then you just genuinely get this giant cycle going where your opponent actually cannot play the game. And that's pretty devastating. Like, that's the reason why you're doing so well with that. And then Ptolemaeus finally moving to 3. Elder Entity, is still locked up somewhere in Purgatory. We don't have to deal with, the interaction of being able to, rank up into that trash during the opponent's turn. And if anything, this card is strictly just a gimmick at this point in time. Overall, I know that everybody wants a TCG list now. I do fully suspect that the TCG is probably going to be due for a list very, very shortly. I am probably expecting us to be seeing a list, probably, if I had to guess, probably heading on into so this weekend should be Oceanics and Latin America for the big events. The 4th of July week is a dead week. I would honestly probably expect something around that week. That should also be either reveals week, or we're going to get a list, and then they'll do reveals the next week. That's if we're going to get a list. This is all hypothetical. And then, of course, Japan Nationals is the weekend of the 12th for July, and then our Nationals is the next week. It's going to be a very interesting ride, kind of going forward here. And I want to see. I would very much love to see Canap Turtle just taken out back and put down long before the TCG has to deal with this. I would love Summon Limit to come back to 1. I know people don't like the Saki 1-ofs kind of approach to the meta, and we need some Snake Eyes hits. They need to do something about this deck. Letting this deck continue to run around in its current incarnation in the TCG has just been an absolute issue, and I don't think anybody is going to complain if we started to see things like Bonfire, the Wanteds, and all of those cards start to reverse course here and get hit. It's the proper thing to do. So, what do you guys think about this list? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. One step closer, because this checks 2 of the 3 formats. I can't wait. You guys have a good rest of your day, alright? Patrons, thank you. Yata!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.